Hi everyone, this is Michelle Garrett, founder of the blog Divas with a Purpose and also owner of MD Garrett Enterprises. I welcome you to our monthly webinar. This month we're talking about ways to overcome procrastination. And as promised, this is the re-recording of the presentation. Thank you so much to those of you that joined us live, and I appreciate you. We had some technical difficulties. So in order to have the best recording for you all, I wanted to re-record this so that you'd be able to view the slides and get the information so that we can all take the steps that we need to overcome procrastination. So here's the thing. You will hear people come up with all sorts of reasons as to why they haven't created a product. Why they haven't launched their product, why they haven't started building a list, why they don't complete their daily tasks that they have, or even something as simple as starting an exercise program. And everything that they say is most likely very, very valid. And they're being truthful, they're not making excuses. But if we look one step deeper, what we'll also find is procrastination. We all do it. We all procrastinate for different reasons. We have different trigger points, and we all procrastinate in different ways. So I wanted to share a little bit about myself. My name is Michelle Garrett, like I said, and I started my own business officially 2 years ago when I left my full-time job. This is something that I was doing part-time, and then I stepped out on faith to do this full-time. And when I made the decision to start working towards being a full-time entrepreneur, procrastination is something that I had to face. When I was working sometimes 12, 13 hours a day, coming home to 3 children, having to do with homework, just being a mom, being a wife, and then also having to work my business, procrastination just couldn't live within my world because the valuable time that I had to work my business before calling it a night so that I can start my day all over again, it could mean the difference between me, making those extra steps to do what I need to do to become a full-time entrepreneur. So I have struggled with procrastination in the past. I still struggle with procrastination sometimes. So a lot of these steps, these are things that I have to remind myself and do them on a regular basis to ensure that I'm staying focused and that I am getting the things that I need to get done within my business. Okay? So the thing about procrastination is really how sneaky our own minds can be. For example, one copywriter or writer or blogger, they might procrastinate by doing endless research on a project. So she's not sitting around twiddling her thumbs. She's not playing a game on Facebook or, checking Instagram. She's doing vital work for her project, and her project is on her mind. But guess what? She hasn't started writing, and she should have started writing days ago because she has a deadline coming up. So she's procrastinating, and in this case, her procrastination trigger probably has to do with self-confidence. She finds the subject intimidating or too technical. She doesn't know how she's going to spin a simple subject into an entire ebook, or her client for this particular project is difficult to work with, and she's dreading the interaction. So there are 3 different problems apparently, but if you take a closer look, they all stem from a lack of confidence. Is the way she's coping with it bad? No. She's not avoiding the project itself, it's merely avoiding putting pen to paper. Research can help when you're familiar with the subject. Research can help, like I said, when you're familiar with the subject, and also when you're not familiar with it, or when you are familiar with it. But there is such a thing as too much research. And people who want to write books often go through a similar procrastination routine. They endlessly research, they write snippets of content, they scrap them, they write some more, they edit them, they put them off, they start writing again. It's an endless cycle. And then there are those of us that have phobias. They don't make phone calls because you may feel uncomfortable talking on the phone, or they may not be making videos because they're self-conscious about being on video. I can relate to this. This was something that I procrastinated about when it came to doing videos for a long time on my platform. And then sometimes it could be something like not launching a business because you're fearful that no one will support you. Okay, so on top of the different reasons for procrastinating, one also has to take into account learning styles and preferences, as well as personality traits and conditions like ADHD, chronic or acute health issues, past traumas, or learning challenges. I'm going to introduce to you 7 ways to beat procrastination. I encourage you to try out the one that resonates most with you, or even give them all a try, because you might be surprised at what works for you. Okay, so before we get started, I'd like you to take a few moments right now just to think about some things. If you haven't already done so, take out a scrap sheet of paper so you can take some notes as you're going along with this. And I want you to write down your biggest procrastination points. If we don't deal with your procrastination type, with your particular type of procrastination issue during this webinar, I encourage you to tweet at me at Divitude, or feel free to send me an email, and it could be something that we address via a follow-up Facebook Live on my Facebook page. But don't be afraid to write that procrastination issue down. And like I said, if I don't address it, please, please, please reach out to me some way so that we can talk about it, because you never know within this community who will be able to assist you. And I won't say who is having trouble with what type of challenge. I'll keep it anonymous if it is something that we discuss via social media. So, there's a famous saying that's usually attributed to a World War II British Prime Minister, Winston Churchill, but actually he got it from a 19th century philosopher named George Santayana. And it says, "Those who do not remember the past are doomed to repeat it." This certainly applies to people who procrastinate, beat themselves up over doing so, and then procrastinate all over again. But it's not so much a case of remembering the past as it is of not understanding why we do it. Get at the root cause, and you have a much better chance of coming up with a combat tactic that works. Let's look at 10 of the most common reasons for procrastinating, okay? Number 1, you're a perfectionist. It could be you are facing a task that is going to be unpleasant or boring or difficult, and you simply don't want to do it because it's not fun. Number 3, you're facing a task that feels overwhelming or just plain too difficult for you to do. You secretly resent having to do the task. You feel as if you need a reward for doing it. I can relate to this one, definitely. You're a person who needs structure, and you haven't created a routine for yourself that provides structure. As someone that has ADHD, has a child that has ADHD, this is something that I definitely can relate to as well, because it's something that we face and we struggle with within my household on a regular basis. You're afraid of failing. You're afraid of succeeding. You don't have a big picture, a driving goal, therefore you lack motivation. This is why I'm so big on setting goals and writing down what it is that you want to accomplish so that you can understand where you're going and set that roadmap. And you have too much to do. Who can relate to this one? You have too much to do, so therefore you just don't have the energy for non-motivating tasks. Did any of these ring a bell with you? Did more than one of these issues do so? If so, welcome to the human race. Most of us have experienced most of these reasons once in a while, perhaps even more than once in a while. No matter what your most common reason for procrastinating might be, taking a 2-step approach will put you on the path to overcoming it. Number 1, understand the cause. Number 2, reframe your habitual responses. For example, if you have realized you commonly procrastinate because you fear success, your perfect strategy will involve realizing that you don't have to leap overnight from where you are now to your ultimate goal. Focus instead on cutting anything out of the success picture that you really don't want. So sometimes we put things into our dreams and our goals and our action plan that other people say that we'd be good at, but it's not something that we truly want. We're kind of adding on and making like a ice cream sundae and adding stuff on that people didn't want us, that we didn't really want in our sundaes, just something somebody added to us. So take that stuff out, take it out, get rid of it. And then make sure that you're taking things one step at a time. Concentrate on what you want to achieve in that single day. Or if you have a fear of failure, recognize that particular cause often combines with perfectionism. You too can benefit from focusing on what you want to achieve that single day, or from reframing your expectations. With perfectionists, the idea of tackling anything involving a learning curve or that someone else, like a client, will have to judge can be paralyzing. They want to do a perfect job every time and will freeze up when they fear that they can't. But I promise you 10 reasons for procrastination, and so far we've only spoken of 9. That brings us to the number 1 all-time common reason for procrastinating. Doing so has become a habit. Yes. Let's talk about the definition of habit. We don't have to go further than Google, good old Google, for the simplest, most succinct definition. A settled or regular tendency or practice, especially one that is hard to give up. Habits are formed through repetition. The neural pathways of your brain are literally trained to repeat the habitual response to any situation. And the more you do it, the harder it is to change that response. Think of it like walking the same route to work every day and taking a shortcut through a tract of grass because it gets you there 10 minutes more quickly. If you take this shortcut through the grass every single day, pretty soon you've worn down a nice smooth track. You're not going to beat your way through the bushes or get your ankles wet creating a new variation of that path the next morning. You're going to follow the nice smooth path that you've already created. That is literally what is happening with your brain when you create a habit. Repeat the habit of procrastination often enough, and it becomes the path of least resistance. Your brain has now become hardwired to procrastinate when faced with trigger situations. So this is human nature. You're not a failure. You're only doing what all of us have done at some time or other in our lives because it's something that we've gotten used to. We programmed our body to do it. So what we need to do is find a motivator that is more powerful than the habit and a strategy or tactic that is best suited to your root causes and your personality traits. One that will help you overcome the bad habit and create a new and more rewarding one. Creating a new structure. This is method number 1, the reminder strategy. So creating a new structure or organization routine is not the perfect cure for everyone, but it might be your perfect strategy. The key lies in taking that twofold action that we talked about, identifying the cause of your procrastination, and then applying the right type of reminder system. For example, tacking a brightly colored sticky note on the lid of your laptop might be an unexpectedly powerful habit breaker for you. For example, if you regularly spend half the morning on Facebook before getting to work, your note might say, "No Facebook." If you want to focus on just doing it and making commitment to go cold turkey. If that doesn't work for you, set your reminder in the form of an alarm that you trigger every morning that will beep at you to remind you it's time to get off of Facebook. If lack of confidence, not yet. If lack of confidence is your issue, then your big, bright reminder sticky note might list a big reward or 2 or 3 of them that you'll get if you get down to business and make those phone calls. Or if you hate phone calls so much that you habitually forget to make them, just simply remind you to make them. A tip that I like to share is make sure that you use the same color of sticky note for your most important reminders. That way, even if you fall by the wayside at first, your brain will create a new neural pathway. The instant it sees that bright pink or yellow or purple sticky note slapped to your laptop or your bulletin board or whatever place that you put it, that pathway will inform your brain, this task is urgent. Especially if one is a perfectionist, and perfectionists tend to procrastinate the most, believe it or not. We tend to make things harder than they have to be. Sometimes the simplest solution, like that big pink sticky note, can be the most effective one. Method number 2, outsource it. If you really hate to do a task, or if it's really outside of your range of skills, experience, or interests, why force yourself to do it? Celebrities have personal assistants who take care of the boring stuff like making travel arrangements or arranging interviews. So why shouldn't you? Because you a celebrity too, boo, right? We're all divas. We're all divapreneurs. And so, we should make sure that we are making the most of our time and our energies. Time is money. And so if it's something that, like I said, is outside of your range of skills, it's something that you don't like, then save yourself that time and effort and money and find someone else that's able to do it. You could hire a BA who will perform your most dreadful task for you, one who's experienced in those tasks or responsibilities, and they actually enjoy and excel at doing them. Or if you hate creating graphics, outsource your graphics to a graphic designer. If setting up and maintaining your websites gives you nervous breakdowns and you break out in hives, outsource that to a web designer, or better yet, to a BA whose specialty is WordPress if you're on a WordPress site. If you hate slogging your way through creating PDF transcripts of your weekly podcast or your Periscope broadcasts or your Facebook Lives, hire a transcriptionist. I know lots of people have had successes with hiring transcriptionists through Fiverr for as little as $5 an hour, I think. If accounting, bookkeeping turns you into like, oh my goodness, I have no idea what's going on, don't force yourself to learn that new accounting software that you didn't understand the last time you tried to tackle it, or the numbers just started blurring in your face. Hire a bookkeeper, an accountant. Stuff your receipts into a shoebox, give it to them once a month to post and organize for you. Nobody on the planet says you have to totally master every single task that needs doing in your business. That's why Coca-Cola hires people to deliver cases of its products in trucks. You don't see the CEO driving cratefuls of Coke cans to every supermarket in America, right? So get rid of any task that drains your energy and or you're not suited to perform. Either scrap the task completely, or if that can't be done, outsource it. This is one of my favorite methods because I love accountability. This goes hand in hand with goals for me. So accountability, it's a really big, buzzword, but life would be utopian if we could all fully embrace accountability, I believe, in the form of knuckling down and just getting it done. Sometimes making that commitment leads to spectacularly easy success, believe it or not, as in experiencing the blinding revelation that you don't have to wait until you feel like doing a task. You can choose to just do it, whether you feel like it or not. If you try that and it hasn't worked, try adding an accountability partner or group to the mix. This works well if you have committed yourself to achieve something really specific, like doing 30 minutes of yoga every day, or making a to-do list every evening. Sometimes finding an accountability partner is simple, like getting your VA to ask if you made that list as a part of her daily duties, okay? But and sometimes groups or partners are built into new undertakings. So for example, if you signed up for a daily yoga class, there are like 10 other people in the class with you and a teacher who will notice if you don't turn up. So you have accountability, because if you miss a class, they may text you or call you, or when you show up to the next class, they'll be asking, hey, we missed you. And that gives you that accountability to show up so that you can be present. And you've already spent money for it, so you don't want to waste your money. But go one step further by being accountable to yourself, too. Put reminders on your bedside clock or fridge. Buy yourself an inspiring, comfortable yoga outfit and lay it out every night, all ready for your morning routine. Fill your water bottle and put it in the fridge, last thing at night. Whatever it takes to nudge and remind yourself that yoga every day is a good thing. Or to encourage yourself to do whatever it is you don't want to procrastinate any more about. If you're more comfortable with accountability groups than with single partners, look for the right group. If one doesn't exist to support the task or process you want to be held accountable for, start it yourself. No matter who you are or how much you say accountability, or how much you may say something like accountability is too much pressure for me, you'll find there's a way to do it without sabotaging yourself. But we haven't finished talking about accountability yet. Once you've got that accountability partner or joined that group, you need to make checking in with them become a habit. We're using that word again. Don't overcomplicate things. People who procrastinate, those of us who procrastinate, are wonderful overcomplicators and overthinkers. So we've already discussed that. We know that. We recognize that in ourselves. Set an alarm or pop up on your computer. Get a reminder app or sign up for a reminder service. Chances are you've already told yourself, just do it, and that hasn't worked. But give it a try one more time. Keep reminding yourself that feelings follow actions, not the other way around. So first, get into the habit of just doing it instead of waiting around to feel like doing it. Method number 4, the good old to-do list. You might be saying, okay, Michelle, I tried it. To-do lists, they just don't work for me. But one of the most common reasons they don't work is because all of us, especially perfectionists, tend to overcomplicate them. The result, they read like a punishment sheet. Here's a strategy that can work for anyone, no matter what their root procrastination cause is. Create a simple, really simple to-do list. Only put one procrastination point on it and leave the remaining 2 or 3 check boxes blank. Call it something else. If the simple words to do trigger you into a frenzy of procrastination, shutting it down, don't want to do it, call it life-changing list or action steps. I like action lists. Like, I have a daily action list. Something that recharges or inspires you, and most importantly, doesn't trigger feelings of failure or the urge to escape or set up just this feeling of panic that you just don't want to do what's on that list. Or guess what? Don't call it anything at all. Just print out your one big priority, the thing you know you're going to procrastinate about tomorrow. Save your to-do list as a master copy or print out a batch of them. And then put a fresh copy on your desk or on top of your laptop. Stick it to your bulletin board in your office. Put it right next to your cell phone or your iPad, wherever you're going to find it first thing in the morning when you start working. And then, before you finish work for the day, so that when you come to work the next day, it'll be there waiting for you. The simple to-do list is definitely underrated. It's usually not a success because people tend to fill it with too many tasks, shoulds instead of need to-dos, and they tend to overfill it. Focus on your top single priority, your big procrastination point, the habit that you want to change, and get it out of the way the moment you see that list in the morning. Do that and you'll soon create a habit of success painlessly. Let me see if I have. Okay, yeah. For example, if you never ever write posts for your website, so you have a blog, you have a website and you have a blog section because you know that in order to bring in new clients, you want to create SEO, search engine optimization. So it's important to you to create articles and write a blog on your website so that you can share that out to your social media accounts and you can connect with your community and they can see just how smart and awesome you are because you share this wonderful, amazing content on your blog. So definitely they want to work with you in other areas, and you promised your clients that you've talked to that it's going to help them do all of these amazing things, and you beat yourself up every day because you don't do it. Overcome that habit of not writing by creating a to-do list that only focuses on your big procrastination point. Write blog posts. That's it. Print it out when finishing for the day and then stick it on or beside your laptop. The big key, the next morning, write that blog post before you fill in the rest of the slots. Only when the post is written and posted should you fill in your remaining priorities for the day. Your main priorities, not all the things that you hope to accomplish, but the main things that you should do the next day, okay? And then what this will do is get you in the habit of sitting down and writing a blog post every morning, if that's something you really want to do and haven't been doing. That could also be posting on your Facebook page or creating a Periscope video or Facebook Live or a YouTube video. Whatever that big task is that you need to do, that's like one of the most important things within your business that you need to do, put that on the list. Like I said, don't fill in the other tasks before you write the post. If you do, what happens is you risk procrastinating through being busy. You'll tackle the other task on the list, or you'll spend way too long prioritizing what to put on the list because we overcomplicate things. And before you know it, you don't feel like writing the blog post again. Focusing on a single procrastination point at a time and structuring it is the key to overcoming all your procrastination points and habits. The 1-point to-do list is a simple strategy, and don't underestimate it. This simple strategy can transform the lives of even the most obsessive, compulsive, avoidance-prone perfectionists. So I encourage you to give it a try. This was definitely a game changer. When you finish watching this webinar, you might also want to check out a short but really excellent article by a freelancer called Jessica Stillman. It's called 5 Scientifically Proven Ways to Beat Procrastination. The article delves into the psychology of procrastination to break it down into an easy to understand cycle. So among her other points, she talks about the Zeigarnik effect, where unfinished tasks, the tasks we typically procrastinate on doing, they tend to float around in your memory and nag you all day long, causing negative feelings such as guilt and shame. So Stillman says that this is also why to-do list items continually pop up in your head until you write them down. A to-do list calms this effect, okay? So this is something that's important, and it ties into the importance of just kind of calming your brain so that you can focus and do those things that you need to do within your business. Method number 5, look for the sticking point. We often procrastinate on tasks not because the task itself is hard, but because there's a step in the process that always derails us. If you eliminate that step or find a more effective way to get past it, often the urge to procrastinate disappears. The task becomes easy or even more enjoyable, believe it or not. So, first, identify the big procrastination point. For example, let's go back to Cindy. Cindy makes a commitment to start every morning with a nice, healthy green smoothie because she's trying to get healthy. That's one of her goals for this year because she's starting a new fitness regime. The problem is she's not a morning person. She's tired and groggy, and all she wants is her morning coffee. Lots of it and strong. Anybody can relate? I know I can. Do you think she's ever going to resist the urge to reach for the coffee pot? No. She's going to have that coffee, and then she discovers the thought of a smoothie on top of the coffee is kind of, not very appetizing at all. Because, once you get that coffee in you, oh my gosh, coffee is amazing. But once you get that coffee in you, you don't want a smoothie. You don't. And the combination just won't do good for your stomach, I promise you. So she doesn't have the smoothie. She stays in groggy morning mode, and she starts putting things off because it's easier to go through her inbox than go down to the basement and use her treadmill when she's feeling groggy. And before you know it, nothing has changed from the day before. She doesn't have that smoothie, she doesn't exercise before work, and most important, she doesn't feel better. That leads to despair. Despair leads to, you guessed it, more procrastination. What's the sticking point here? Think about it, think about it, think about it, think about it, think about it. Okay. No matter what our hypothetical Cindy might feel about smoothies, one big sticking point is how she habitually feels in the morning. She's wasted. She's addicted to that morning coffee, and as we know, addictions are the hardest habits to break. What we have to do is make it easy to replace the habit. So for example, Cindy might want to make her smoothie the night before and store it in the fridge. Oops, not yet. I'm always wanting to go ahead too fast. Cindy might want to make her smoothie the night before and store it in the fridge. Just give it a quick buzz in her NutriBullet to refresh it in the morning. No cleaning, chopping fruit, nothing. She doesn't have to do anything in the morning, but just get up and drink the smoothie. So she doesn't even have to think about it, and that smoothie is ready for her to sip it. So what happens when she makes it easy by changing the sticking point step in the process? It's right. It's that nice, refreshing, energizing smoothie she starts the morning with so easily. And the thought of adding coffee too soon is the thing that now turns her stomach instead of the opposite way. She can still have that coffee because we still need our coffee, okay? She can still have that coffee, but she'll just have it at a later point in the day. Cindy's created her desired new routine. She gets the feeling of accomplishment and action, the excitement of taking concrete steps towards her goal, and the reward of feeling genuinely more energetic and healthier at what used to be the worst part of her day. And that, my friends, is a great habit to get into, and it's one that I know I'm personally working on. So this is the bane of my existence right now with getting into those healthy habit routines. So this is something that I am definitely implementing within my personal life for sure. So let's go ahead and move on to method number 6. Look for the reward. I enjoy this one because I'm a reward person. Rewards help me and motivate me. So we mentioned the reward factor just now. When you talk about rewards, most people tend to focus on the big reward, the mansion you're going to move into when you make 7 figures, or the appearance on national TV, or just being able to retire at the nice old ripe young age of 40. But it's important to build in intrinsic rewards along the way. It's like starting that journey with a single step. You need those little rewards to motivate you towards the big rewards. People need to have a sense of purpose and joy in every single day. This is something that I talk about on my platforms on a regular basis, that you have to have joy. You have to see purpose in the steps that you're taking, the action that you're taking on a daily basis, so that you continue to feel motivated to move forward. So living with purpose and joy makes it easier to beat procrastination. I promise you. Most of the time, you're just so in your zone, you don't want to stop. Working feels like fun again. You're excited for your clients, you're excited for your future, but don't neglect those little overlooked rewards that you can easily build into any procrastination whipping technique or strategy. We already had a look at the automatic built-in rewards that our good old friend Cindy created when she started preparing her fresh, healthy smoothies the night before, okay? So the feeling of accomplishment, that she's an action taker. The excitement of actually setting herself on her path towards her goal. The reward of feeling great in the mornings instead of groggy. And it's great when there are unexpected positive side effects too. For example, if you can add a single scoop of protein powder to that morning smoothie, you get a whole 20 grams or so of protein to power boost your day. The powder is the one thing you should add in the morning right before you remix and drink your smoothie, just in case anybody's wanting some tips, okay? Everything else, though, you can prepare and mix the day before and be ready to rock and roll the next morning, okay? Got a little distracted there. Sorry, guys. But seriously, starting off your day with a healthy smoothie or even just a good healthy breakfast cuts down on morning exhaustion. And that's usually an often overlooked cause of what I like to call a procrastination cascade failure. A cascade failure occurs when one simple part of a sequence goes wrong early in the sequence, leading to another part malfunctioning, then another, ending with a huge systemic crash. For example, when a piece of computer code malfunctions in a plugin, that can bring down your entire website. Ask me how I know. Or if one key transmitter goes offline in a power grid, that can bring down the entire state grid. Okay, so it's the same thing when you trip over a small procrastination point, which triggers more procrastination and ends up with that dreaded, I feel like I worked my butt off all day and accomplished absolutely nothing syndrome. So don't just identify small procrastination points early in your day. Build in rewards for tackling them too. Here's a spectacular real life example. This is someone that I know personally. We work together back and forth, and her name's Emma Lonchik. She's the creator and moderator of the private Fit Friends Getting Fitter low carb group. I told you I have people that are healthy and do healthy things. I'm just not at that point yet. They're working on me. Emma felt shamed into losing weight when a friend took a photo of her one day and she saw that she had gained more weight than she realized. Emma says, at first it was hard to get motivated, but I created a reminder and reward system of placing a pebble from the windowsill into the glass vase every time I lost a pound. My goal was to see all the pebbles gone off the windowsill, and it was rewarding every time one disappeared into the vase. As you can see, from Emma's before and after photos, this simple reward system worked. Small procrastination busting tactics like this also have a positive cascade effect. For example, outgoing Emma was so inspired by her results that she started her Facebook group to encourage and support other people struggling with weight issues who are attempting to go low carb. You can even make your to-do list work like a reward system if checking off boxes gives you a mini woohoo moment. Reward should be, you see I have this bolded because this is so important. Reward should be a built-in part of any procrastination busting, habit changing strategy. Both long-term rewards and those all-important little immediate ones. Again, this is something that I talk about on a regular basis, the importance of celebrating yourself and giving yourself small rewards as you're going along your journey towards your success. It's just human nature. We like to do what is pleasurable. And if something is all pain, we are just not going to create that habit. We're not going to do it, okay? Method number 7 is create the right space. One area we haven't really touched on yet is organization. A lack of organization leads to chaos and confusion for not just those with ADHD, hi guys, or right brain people, but just about anyone. This doesn't mean you have to operate from 15 planners and have buzzers going off every 15 minutes, unless that sort of thing really, really sets your boat to floating. But what it really means is getting rid of anything that is blocking you from achieving your goals. Again, you can't treat this microcosmically or on an empiric scale. Empiric would mean taking action steps like getting rid of toxic relationships. Those are I'm sorry, I said, again, you can treat this microcosmically or on an empiric scale. Again, the empiric would be taking action steps like getting rid of toxic relationships. Those are the people who keep your self-esteem clobbered, your confidence low, or just plain sap too much energy out of you. Okay, get rid of them. Microcosmic might look like cleaning your desk, getting rid of clutter if it's piling up. Do it now. Plan to declutter in at least one area, the one you feel is keeping you in chaos. Some people find the easiest place to start is with their work area, the actual workstation or office. Clean up your desk. Get everything off of it that does not belong or doesn't inspire you. Do place at least one object that inspires you on, around, or above your desk. A framed inspirational quote or mantra, a vase of beautiful flowers, a photo of your dream house, something connected with the big goal and mission you are working towards. Keep something fun on your desk, an adult coloring book, a dueling pad, a Rubik's Cube, a handheld Yahtzee game, anything that you can use to take a really short but relaxing break while you ponder over a puzzle or simply give your brain a rest from a tricky task. It can even just be a photo that makes you laugh, your dog being silly or your kids being cute. I have a picture of my son that's my absolute favorite picture, where he's making, it's probably about 3 or 4 years old, but he's making like the silliest, cutest little face. And I keep it on my desk because it reminds me of the joy that he has and he carries with him. And it's something that I can reflect on when I just need a mental break. Whew, okay. Also, you can keep your tiny, mini, one priority to-do list, that action task list on your desk, and make sure you have an easy to grab supply of sticky notes if you're using that sticky note system, or printouts of your list if you're using an actual blank list. Okay, go through your home office and donate, throw out, or relocate anything and everything that doesn't inspire you, that serves no energy boosting or helping function, is old or redundant. For example, that ancient dummies book about programming with DOS Basic. Like, you're not going to use it. It doesn't matter if you get every single thing done here. Just make a start on it. Don't worry about going through this entire list. Just do it. Just get started. Once you've decluttered your work area, see how that's working for you for a few days or weeks. Then go on to organize and declutter other areas of your life. For example, your hard drive, your email inbox, those energy draining relationships, or commitments made out of coercion or guilt, like that committee that you got roped into joining, for example, that you really don't have time for, but you felt like you had to say yes because everyone was looking at you. Just get rid of. Don't get overambitious and try to do everything at once, okay? Start with a desk, then set aside 15 minutes a day or 1 hour per week specifically for organization and decluttering. So, We talked about the causes and triggers, habits, procrastination points, motivations, and rewards, as well as several strategies. It's time to put them all together and apply the last procrastination busting method. Find the right tools and strategies. How do you know what the right tools are? It's really simple. They're the ones that work for you. Let's start with some of the wonderful tools that are available today in the digital age. If you have problems writing blog posts, you can use apps like CoSchedule, which I love, or WordPress plugins like Editorial Calendar to help you organize and schedule posts. Groups are also a great help if you're one of those who find that accountability and inspiration move you past procrastination. I am a huge promoter, and full disclosure, I am the community manager of a group called Courage to Earn, but it's an amazing community of women. It's digital influencers, bloggers who are committed to earning more income from their blog and just having more transparency and coming together as a community to help each other. And in that group each week we post a post on Monday where we list out 3 to 5 things that we're going to work on. We do a midweek motivation, and then on Friday we celebrate our successes and list out what we've actually accomplished, and we're checking in. So it's accountability throughout the week. Okay, so if you do join a group, make sure it's a closed or private group. Public groups tend to attract a large number of trolls and people with negative energy. I'm just going to be honest. Whereas you'll find more action takers and positive, motivated people in closed or private groups. If accountability is really your thing, also consider joining a formal online challenge to help you get past your particular block. For example, a lose 5 pounds in 30 days challenge if you're focused on losing weight and can't seem to stick to a new regime, or a finish your book in 30 days challenge if you can't seem to finish your signature book, ever. Make sure you're using the right planning tools too. So if you like paper planners, buy a good day timer in the format that you prefer, daily, weekly, or month at a glance. If you like a planner that focuses on all aspects of your daily life, not just business, try something like the Fresh Start Mission-Driven Action Planner, which incorporates business activities, calendar, and even little boxes, glasses, so you can tick off your daily water intake. I'm also a huge fan of creating a bullet journal where you can just get a regular notebook and create the journal that works for you. Create the planner that works for you. You can go to Pinterest. There are all kinds of Instagram. There are all kinds of things that'll show you how to set up your bullet journal, but really it's something that you created to work best for you. So there's so many different formats that you can use, and you can change it at any time. If you prefer a digital planner, you can use apps like Evernote that allow you to integrate and track all your activities across all your devices, including your PCs and smartphones. And if you're a coach and you're not taking full advantage of online scheduling systems like TimeTrade or ClickBook, Acuity is what I'm currently using, and I love it. They're ones that allow clients to schedule themselves, change appointments or other slots you have available, and they also send out automatic confirmations. You're missing out on a very vital resource if you're not using this. It also integrates into your calendar, which then can integrate into whatever reminder systems that you have and send you out reminders so that you're not forgetting things or not showing up to where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. Planning and organization reduces stress. I'm going to say that again. Planning and organization reduces stress, especially when you automate much of it. And this gives you energy, which reduces procrastination. And that is why we're here today. The important thought to take away from this webinar: busting procrastination is not just about becoming more organized or beating a bad habit. Busting procrastination is all about creating habits and finding the methods that energize and inspire you. Okay? Thank you so much for joining me on today's webinar. I so appreciate you for joining us today or whenever you watch this on the 7 ways to overcome procrastination. For those of you that signed up for this webinar and are part of my newsletter, I appreciate you. You will also get the notes that I promised, and I'm also going to be sending out an additional resource that has 21 additional ways that you can overcome procrastination and implement those within your day-to-day life. And I hope you will join me next month, June 19th, when we talk about action steps to boost your profits. I have listed out my monthly webinar schedule for through August. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope this information was useful and vital to you and that you implement it. That's the important part, is to implement it. Definitely feel free to connect with me on Facebook. My name is Shelly Garrett, or on Twitter, Divitude, and let me know how you're doing with these. Let me know which procrastination tips that you have implemented, and feel free to email me at any time as well if you just want to let me know that information privately. I thank you, and I will talk to you all next month.